This is the Indonesia Channel.
Coming up in today's Indonesia, the government's decision to sink foreign vessels has drawn some concerns. Our Business Watch features Kamalika art prints and its global expansion. And President Widodo marked his debut at the Indonesian Film Festival. Hello and thank you for joining us. Welcome to today's Indonesia from Jakarta. I am Luisa Kusnandar. Another Indonesian from Brebes, Central Java, has survived from the boat accident in Russian waters. The family of Daryuna was overwhelmed with joy as they heard the news. He joined 3 other survivors. Meanwhile, the government has confirmed that 11 Indonesians on board the vessel were found dead. The bodies of the victims were recovered last week, while other passengers remain missing. The South Korean Orion 501 ship was carrying a total of 60 people, including 35 Indonesians, when it sank off Russia's Bering Sea coast last week. The government is committed to combat illegal fishing as they blew up and sank 3 empty Vietnamese boats last week. The wooden vessels were sent to the bottom of Natuna Sea in Riau. A total of 8 fishermen were extracted from the boats and its fuel emptied to avoid pollution before they were sunk. President Widodo said illegal fishing is caused by a lack of stern action. However, Jokowi's action has sparked criticism for threatening to hurt diplomatic relations with neighboring countries. Indonesia loses around 300 trillion rupiah, or around $24.2 billion annually from illegal fishing. Currently, there are around 5,400 illegal ships operating in Indonesian waters. We get perspective now from our viewpoint analyst. Wimar Witular is here. He's a former presidential spokesman, now running his own communications company. Wimar, action has been taken and Jokowi has been really stern about this. Now, do you think his action for bombing 3 Vietnamese boats, is this too early?
I don't think so. It's too late, in fact. They should have had some stern action a long time ago when they were warned again and again, and those repetitious warnings without action certainly damaged the credibility of the government. Now he shows he means business.
Don't you think this will, some critics are saying this might hurt the ties between Indonesia and Vietnam though?
I don't see any evidence of that in the international press. I read Thai and I don't read Vietnam, but there is no criticism in the international press because, tell you the truth, I think there are signs that the fishing, illegal fishing, is actually a domestic scandal using foreign flags.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Well, ships have countries of registration and it's usually allowed to have more than one. You know, of course, that so many ships have the Panama flag, Panamanian flag. Actually, they are American flags, or they have the Luxembourg flag. So ships that are operating in Indonesian waters are actually owned by Indonesians who use a double identities, as if you will, and if they get in trouble, if they get caught by the Navy at that time, the Navy would hesitate to act for fear of inciting a diplomatic incident. Sometimes the Navy is also in on the game and they know it's just a facade, a masquerade, so they just get away with it. But now they bomb and no diplomatic statements has been made, no foreign press has protested, so I think they should just bomb away.
So it's actually Indonesian ships that are being bombed?
Indonesian-owned ships. Just like if you talk about palm oil, I don't like to go back to palm oil always, but palm oil have Singaporean, Malaysian flags, but they are owned by Indonesians who live in here or in parts of Indonesia.
Okay, so but you don't think that this action is actually too violent though?
No, because the individuals, the hands are, the ship crew are actually taken off and the fuel is siphoned off, so it's cannot cause pollution, so they just actually bombing the carcass of a ship, which if they did not do that would just be free to operate again. It is very effective remedy. Now, I don't know how long this is good for, but certainly in this stage, it establishes the clear will of this president.
And it is a very smart move, especially if, as you said, if it was Indonesian-owned ships. Now, it is estimated that there are more than 5,000 boats that are still fishing illegally in Indonesian waters. Why is this number so high, Wimar?
because Indonesian waters are very good to catch fish in, and again because the boats are owned by a number of different nationalities. But now since the action was started, if you check again how many foreign ships there are actually less than 100.
Oh, wow.
They've just disappeared. Not the ships, but the flags have disappeared. So they're hiding under Indonesian nationality.
Yes. How do you think the previous government has handled this? Why did it took them so long not to do any significant action?
I respect the previous government, but since you asked me a direct question, the answer is the same as in anything else. Why does it take them so long to fight against illegal palm oil? Why does it take them so long to investigate Munir's death? Why does it take them so long to act against human trafficking? So many things have been addressed correctly in the previous government, but no action had been taken. It's the same syndrome. Lots of goodwill, no action.
So finally we have some actions here, and that is really good. What other strategies can be used to combat illegal fishing, do you think?
Well, certainly this is the first remedy, is to teach people not to mess around with Indonesian waters. Secondly, you have to have a clear map of the seas, with drones, with even participatory mapping with the fishermen, so that everybody knows exactly where our borders are, and everybody knows that these waters are Indonesian waters, and no Indonesian official or power holder should protect the foreigner. Then we will have pride in our waters and pride in our fish.
Last question here, Wimar. So how confident are you that this current government and this cabinet will finally solve this illegal fishing problem?
I am quite confident. We have a good president. We have a very good minister. She is smart, cognizant of all the issues in there, and certainly very analytical. So I'm confident that the problem will be mitigated by, at least half of it. There will always be illegal people around, but not at the scale that we have experienced in the last few years.
And it's definitely a really, really brilliant move by our President Joko Widodo. Let's see what other actions he's going to take next year. Wimar Witular, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Luisa.
And sharing your perspective with us. President Widodo has announced his historical plan to attend Christmas celebrations in Papua on December 27 and 28. Widodo will stay in Jayapura, Papua for 2 days and will start his visit by doing blusukan or impromptu visits. About 2.5 million people will join the celebrations as they gear up to see the president up close and personal for the first time.
All the people are so excited to meet their presidents, and then especially they want to celebrate Christmas together with their president.
Papua is Indonesia's easternmost province, where the majority of its residents are Christians. This annual Christmas celebration has been held several times in the world's largest Muslim population. The Indonesia channel has been named as the event's broadcaster coordinator. Now to our first look at the weather. Standing by at the weather monitor is Ashifa Latif. Ashifa, what's the forecast for tomorrow?
Luisa,